things off with Tracy Hot Sauce Williams and Russ Taylor. And has that shin travel.
Oh, do it again. Yeah, do it again. Look at, he catches it, rolls through.
Wow.
This is what we call it.
And now a crossface from
Russ
Williams.
Taylor
STF.
used a
The
rope
kick
break.
caught. Open hand block. Taylor catches. Wow.
Tracy
wow.
Williams
Looking for a
has
cross
used his
arm breaker.
third
It's
and
got it.
final rope break.
Yeah.
1 minute
Oh,
remaining.
turns on the juice. 1, 2. Nice bridge out of it. Williams looks going back to that crossface. Oh, wait a minute, Williams. Pile driver.
That's it. Yeah, he's not even going for a cover. He's going straight for a submission. It's
And
over.
he taps right away. Williams advances to the second round. PJ Black is the Darewolf. Tony Deppen, he is a Matt wrestler's Matt wrestler. And it is Deppen with a leapfrog and a beating comes through. PJ Black hands Tony Deppen, follows him in off the rope. Wow. It's Deppen, steps over, rolls through. Looking for an STF. PJ wants a timeout, but there's no timeouts.
Put Williams in the way of the rope when the count were out.
Whoa, yeah!
Well, PJ's doing the right thing to put him away. He's going back.
Oh,
my God. Good night.
Crucifix driver. 3.
I'm Quinn McKay, and I'm cosplaying as my own coffee mug, and I'm here to update you on everything going on in Ring of Honor and the ongoing Pure Tournament to crown a brand new ROH Pure Champion. Round 1 of the tournament is in the books, and we're now moving into the block semifinals. Advancing to the semifinals in the A block are the franchise Jay Lethal, 4th generation wrestler David Finlay, the Savage Weight Fred Yehi. And last week, we saw Hot Sauce Tracy Williams defeat skilled scientific technician Russ Taylor to advance in a fantastic back-and-forth match. I was able to get comments from Tracy after the match, and I never shy away from a great Hot Sauce promo, so let's go to that now. After an incredible matchup, Hot Sauce Tracy Williams just forced Russ Taylor to submit in the first round of the Pure Title Tournament. He's now going to go on to face Fred Yehi in the second round. Hey, Tracy. I have some questions for you. How are you feeling going into the second round of the tournament? I noticed you have an ice pack. You got beat up a little bit. That was an incredible back and forth with Russ Taylor there. How are you feeling?
Thank you, Quinn. It's nice to see you. It's been quite a while. That was round 1 of the Pure Title Tournament. And the whole reason I came to Ring of Honor was because I knew they would give me the best competition. Because that is what I live on. That is what I sustain myself on, competition. So for the last 6 months, I've been sitting at home without it. I went cold turkey without expecting it. 0 competition for 6 months. And now I walk right back home to Ring of Honor and they give me one of the best. Russ Taylor, woo! I had never wrestled you before tonight, and I hope one day I will again because you took me to my limit, Rust. You knocked the ring rust right off of me, Rust, and thank you for that. Because it's a long road to the top, and it's a long road to bring honor back to Ring of Honor, and the first step to doing that just happened. The next step is tomorrow night. Fred Yehi, oh, that's a name I am very familiar with. On the contrary, Fred Yehi, you and I go way back. Catch Point, you remember that? I do, and I remember what it was all about. I remember what it was supposed to be. So here we are, Fred, 2020, in the middle of a pandemic, you and I, back at it, 2 of the best catch wrestlers in the world. So Fred, bring it, buddy, because I know you can. You are a world-class athlete, and you are what Catch Point was supposed to be, and you are what Ring of Honor is supposed to be. So tomorrow, I can't think of any better opponent than you, Fred. I can't wait to see you, because you will be my next step to purity, my next step to the Pure Championship, and my next step to restoring honor in Ring of Honor.
I am also very excited to see that, but I don't know that I'm allowed to say that. Tracy Williams will move on to face Fred Yehi in a Block A semifinal. These two are no strangers to one another, as they've been opponents and partners in years past. Now over on the other side, in Block B, advancing to the semifinals are the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham, Matt Sydal, Josh the Goods Woods, and last week we saw the Darewolf PJ Black advance by defeating ROH newcomer Tony Deppen. Here's what PJ had to say immediately following the bout. I'm Quinn McKay, backstage at the Ring of Honor Pure Tournament, and there he is right there, PJ Black, the Darewolf, along with his...
Did you see that, Quinn?
I did, yes.
Did you?
Yes.
Hey, what are you doing here? Hey, well, get me some water, dude. Come on. Yeah. Water? Yeah, you know it. Cold, just how I like it. You know what I like about this tournament? You get 3 rope breaks. I have 1,000 moves in my back pocket that nobody's ever seen. You only get 3 rope breaks. It doesn't take a mathematician. 3, 1,000. Who's gonna win? Well, maybe you're a betting man. Everybody knows that you should always bet on black. Tony Deppen. Usually I do some research about my opponents. I find out their move sets and stuff like that. But I couldn't find anything about this dude online. Right, so maybe I took him a little bit light. I was kind of lucky to win there, in fact, but just know this, Tony. From now on, I'm gonna remember your name, kid. For real. Now, who's my next opponent?
It's Josh the Goods Woods. Actually, it's Josh Woods. It's Josh Woods. PJ Black will move on to face Josh the Goods Woods in a Block B semifinal. Keep in mind that both Tracy vs. Rust and PJ vs. Deppen will be uploaded in full without TV commercial breaks tomorrow on Honor Club. Right now, let's check out what's in store for this weekend's ROH TV as the tournament continues.
Ring of Honor's historic Pure Championship is back. 8 men remain in a tournament based on the core principles of Ring of Honor wrestling. Pure athleticism, pure technique, pure skill, and pure honor. When the smoke clears, a new ROH Pure Champion will be crowned. This week, Jay Lethal takes on David Finlay, and Jonathan Gresham fights Matt Sydal. This week on ROH TV.
I could see any combination of these competitors progressing in the tournament, but from what I have seen, most people have Gresham versus Lethal in the finals of the tournament, probably because y'all love drama. Recently, the first round match between Kenny King and Josh Woods went the full 15-minute time limit, with the decision being left in the hands of the 3 judges. Right now, let's go to Pure Tournament judge Will Ferrara on exactly what he looks for as a judge and a coach.
As Pure Tournament judges, we have the responsibility of deciding a winner for any match that goes their full time limit. But without a definitive pin or submission, how does one decide who has wrestled a better match? For me, it comes down to technique and effectiveness. I will add points for things like clean counters, controlling a body part, forcing your opponent to use their rope breaks. As a coach at the ROH Dojo, I'm an advocate for maximizing your movements and for being able to react on the fly. I understand that each wrestler is allowed 1 punch before disqualification, but I will deduct any points if I see punches are thrown. Double the points if you're the first one to throw a punch. This is about pure wrestling, and I won't tolerate any cheap shots. Everyone in this tournament has a game plan, but I'm keeping my eye out for those who can adapt in real time and overcome. This isn't a popularity contest. This isn't about garnering crowd reactions. This is about who is the better wrestler and who will become the next Ring of Honor Pure Champion.
Gary Juster is another judge in the Pure Tournament, and recently a new audio show called Old School in Session debuted at ROHWrestling.com. The weekly show will feature ROH Director of Operations Gary Juster answering fan questions and telling stories about his many years as a pro wrestling promoter and executive. Before coming to ROH, Juster was affiliated with WCW, the NWA, the AWA, and Gary has worked closely with some of the biggest stars in wrestling history. To submit a question or topic for Gary to discuss, send a tweet using #AskGary. Gary has so much knowledge that the show will basically be like getting a wrestling history lesson. And speaking of history, this day in ROH history, October 6th, 2012. Can we get some like dreamy back in time music?
This is weapons, Kevin. Elbow strike from Lethal. Now going to the top. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Oh my God! Can it end this way? 1, 2, no! This match, and what a match it is, goes on! Back to that same corner again. That kind of weight from that height could spell the end. Oh, time right off the knees of Lethal. And now both men have created some space. Super kick scores. Lethal injection. Where the hell is Steen going? He's trying to get out. Lethal's holding on to him with a death grip. Steen instinctively rolling out to the floor. Well, I don't like, Kevin, move over. I don't like this one bit. Jay Lethal has Kevin Steen trying to get him back in the ring where he can win this match. Steen's biting Jay Lethal in the face.
You can see
Steen right. Jay Lethal's father just threw a drink. He spit on Lethal's mother. Wait a minute.
Spit on Lethal's mother.
Hold on. Hey.
You can go back and check out so many Jay Lethal and Kevin Steen matches right now on Honor Club. As you know, we add 50 classic matches every Friday for Fresh 50 Fridays. Last week, we saw great matches added, such as Roderick Strong versus Kensuke Sasaki, Jimmy Jacobs versus Necro Butcher, the Briscoes versus the Vulture Squad, and El Generico versus Taiji Ishimori from Tokyo Summit in 2008. Let's take a look at some of that now.
Go here. Or can Ishimori block the attempt? He's trying to block. If he can hit this maneuver, this one will be over.
Both guys jockeying for position here. Who's going to get the advantage? Ishimori all the way to the top. DDT off the top.
Running for him in the corner. Yakuza kick from Generico. Cover. Only two.
Ishimori's dazed.
The Chinoku driver. Again, a near fall for Generico.
Great job by Generico.
He's got Ishimori by the head. Elevates him to the top. No. Blocked. Crucifix bomb. Only two.
Oh, great counter right there by Ishimori.
Ooh, DDT. Generico with the shoulder up somehow.
Oh, he spiked him right on his head, but Generico able to get the shoulder up.
Had him elevated in hammerlock position and connected with the DDT. As Generico in position. Ishimori, superstar elbow, cover. He got him.
We celebrate National Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th to October 15th. Catch some of the greatest bouts from our Hispanic talent, both past and present, featured on our ROH YouTube channel. Hear from some of your favorite stars like Mandy Leon, Bandito, Flamita, Ray Oris, Rich Lebezno, and Amy Rose as they share what Hispanic Heritage Month means to them. Speaking of Amy, with our international wrestlers unable to cross the border at the moment, Amy Rose sent in an update on the Faccion Ingobernable. Let's hear from the Diamond Diva herself.
Ha pasado mucho tiempo y el mundo ha cambiado. Aunque nos hemos sido olvidados. Yo estoy aquí para recordarte del equipo más dominante de todo el Ring of Honor, la Faccion Ingobernable. Kenny King, el Rey, Dragon Lee, campeón de la televisión, el Ingobernable Mayor, el Toro Blanco, el campeón mundial de Ring of Honor, Rush, y yo, la diva, Amy Rose. Solo espera que veas lo que yo ha preparado. Cuando regresamos, todo el Ring of Honor será nuestro. Dominación total. Tranquilo, no pasa nada.
Our weekly schedule of content delivery continues and will only keep growing. Caprice Coleman's weekly column has recently debuted on ROHWrestling.com. Every Thursday, you'll be able to get a dose of Colemanism. Word of Honor is an occasional series of first-person feature articles written by ROH talent. The latest post is written by Vincent, the Horror King, himself. The incredible story of Vincent, the most dangerous man in pro wrestling, details the making of Vincent, growing up Vinnie Marseglia, meeting Bateman, and much more. Also, as you know, every Monday we drop a new episode of the ROH Strong podcast hosted by Kevin Eck. The latest guest, LOLLL, is the Allure's Angelina Love. Goth Barbie talks about her years in WWE developmental and TNA, winning the Knockouts title in a match in which she legitimately got knocked out, debuting in 2004 in ROH, and making her return 15 years later at Madison Square Garden, and I'm sure a ton of other stuff. Listen, Angel is right. Her career is impressive and prolific, and I guess you can check that out now at ROHWrestling.com. Ah, yes. Oh, and Tony Deppen joined the Bouncers on Happy Hour to discuss the Pure Tournament, so that was fun. Now available at the ROH Pro Shop are 2 different t-shirts dedicated to the ROH Pure Tournament. Get one now before they're all gone because honestly, they're pretty dope. If I happened to ask you if you've been enjoying the Pure Tournament, I'm going to assume the answer to that question would be a resounding yes, you and everyone else. However, I can't even imagine the answers to this week's question of the week. This week's question, if not pro wrestling, what career would you have pursued?
Now this question really ain't too hard for me. You see, there's 2 things that I consider myself to be above average at. One of them's wrestling, and the other is growing chickens. There ain't nothing fancy about it, and it ain't a whole lot of money, but it's honest work. And that honest work is what's gonna make a man out of you.
If you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I'm gonna say I love coffee. If I wasn't a professional wrestler, I'd start my own business and I would open the finest coffee shop in the world.
If I wasn't wrestling, what job would I have? I don't know. Pretzel maker? I don't know much of the science and what goes into making them, but I like to eat them. I know what they're supposed to taste like when they're good, so I feel like I'm ahead of the game already.
Hey, this is Gary Juster, longtime wrestling promoter. If I hadn't become a wrestling promoter, I think I would have gone into the music business. Growing up, I loved wrestling and music. I knew I wasn't athletically able to become a wrestler, and probably not musically talented enough to become a musician. But I loved the idea of being that person behind the scenes who made it happen. So had I not been a wrestling promoter, I think I might have tried to purchase or open up a live music venue, a small club, and promote music. One way or the other, I was going to be a promoter.
What job would I have besides pro wrestling? Well, as a kid, the very first job I ever wanted was to be a video game designer, so most likely that would be my job.
A web developer. I've been doing it since the mid-90s. It's not very exciting, but it pays pretty well.
If not for pro wrestling, I'd probably pursue something like video editing. I think it's a good blend of being technical and creative.
If I wasn't a pro wrestler, I'd be the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos. And I'd be good, too.
Slam dunk, touchdown, go! Home run, watch me go!
I mean, clearly if I wasn't wrestling, I'd be the first baseman for the Boston Red Sox. Duh.
If I wasn't pursuing a career in professional wrestling, I would have pursued a career in fashion and modeling.
were not a professional wrestler, I would pursue a career as a stuntman in Hollywood for preferably either Arnold Schwarzenegger or Denzel Washington.
If not for pro wrestling, I probably would have carried on the Isom tradition and become a mechanic.
If I had to be an everyday bozo like you guys, instead of being the mecca of Ring of Honor, I guess I'd be a carpenter.
Now, if chickens ain't your thing, we got another career for you. Start off with something like that right there. Basic push more. Get her from Lowe's, $1.50. You work your way up, you cut that grass, you do landscaping, you rake the leaves. Then you get you something like that, boom, John Deere. You know, that's about probably 500. You keep stacking up, you keep doing the work, you keep putting in the work. Cut the grass a little faster, keep stacking, keep saving, be smart with your money. Next thing you know, you got something like that. See them bad boys right there? So yeah, landscaping, that's another dream career that we like to do. It's all about putting the work in, baby.
If I wasn't a professional wrestler, I would be an archaeologist or a full-time paranormal investigator.
If I wasn't a pro wrestler, the career that I would have pursued would be an FBI profiler, the one that profiles serial killers. I've always had a weird fascination with serial killers and trying to find out what they, makes them tick. Kind of like the TV show Mindhunter or Criminal Minds.
If I wasn't a professional wrestler, I would probably be a scientist, or a doctor, or a nurse, or an astronaut, or probably work in a bar, but I don't think I'd last very long there.
Hello, yes, if Danhausen was not a professional wrestler, Danhausen would be the ruler of hell.
I wanted to be a forensic anthropologist. I don't know. Now for something I'm honestly jealous I'm not hosting. Each week in October, the ROH roster will be sharing their favorite spooky stories for a new show called ROH Strange. Aliens, cryptids, Angelina Love, the paranormal, and everything weird will be covered, so tune in. That's all that I have for you this week. Up next in the Pure Tournament is David Finlay versus Jay Lethal and Jonathan Gresham versus Matt Sydal. That's this weekend on ROH TV, so you do not want to miss it. Also join for our hashtag ROH Pure Watch Party every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. You can follow me on Twitter at Quinn McKay and ROH at Ring of Honor across all social media platforms. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week on Week by Week.